Kellyanne Conway is not happy with the Democrats over their opposition to repealing and replacing Obamacare. You know, I wonder why that could be. Could it be that they're trying to repeal and replace Obamacare? The Democrats might not be on board because, again, it was the bill that they passed. Obamacare. Anyway. Okay. Now, during an episode of Fox and Friends on Sunday, she expressed her displeasure and actually talked about some of the criticism from the left over Trumpcare. Let's take a look at that video.
You're also seeing this resistance from the left and in the mainstream media to the repeal and replacement of Obamacare. And President Trump tweeting this week saying the fake media is working to make healthcare, the vote look bad. He took to Twitter the other day and in a series of tweets. And he's, you know, there's a lot of folks on the left saying that this bill is now going to kill people. And that's what the left is saying. You're hearing that from at these town halls. You're seeing that in the mainstream media. What's the response from the White House? It's a hard message to be up against. To play defense against that kind of messaging, what's the plan?
It's such an outrageous and untrue quote message, as you put it. Look, it's easier to jeer from the cheap seats than come up with a message of your own and be honest about the facts.
Cheap seats? Cheap seats? You call me cheap? I'm just kidding. Look, I think this is a case of thou doth protesteth too much. Oh man, it's so much easier to jeer from the cheap seats and come up with your own idea, come up with your own message, your own plan. Really? The Democrats, they did have a message. It's called Keep Obamacare. And look, this is all projection anyway. Because for the last 8 years, that's all Republicans did, was jeer from the so-called cheap seats. And they would say ridiculous things like Obamacare, it's going to kill your grandma, it's going to kill your babies, it's killing babies right now. And Obamacare, it's worse than slavery. That is an actual quote. You should look that up. They actually said that. Now, they go through, they criticize it, you know, call it worse than slavery, and what were their ideas? Did they have an idea? No, they didn't have an idea until they actually won, and we're like, oh shit, we got to come up with something. Because our plan was Obamacare, and because the left didn't have a plan, the Democrats didn't well, the left had a plan, it's Medicare for all, but the Democrats, they don't listen to the left, they don't listen to progressives. Instead, they went through and they listened to the right-wingers, and they're like, let's steal your plan. Well, your plan is market-centered, your plan will, like, my donors will love your plan, because my donors are the health insurance industry. So yeah, we're going to take your plan, and we're gonna implement that. So that left the Republicans with nothing. Nothing. Now, of course, since it was their plan, and and Obama took it, and the Democrats took it and passed it, well, of course they're not going to offer any fixes, because they hate that, and they hate Obama. So like, we're not going to do anything. You know what we're going to do? We're going to jeer from the cheap seats. Super, super projection. And of course, then they actually won, which I don't even think they were expecting that. And now they scrambled, they came together and they cobbled together probably the worst health care plan that we've ever seen. The American Health Care Act, or Trumpcare. Now look, Democrats, I think for a while they were very open to fixing, so-called fixing Obamacare, but look, the truth is you really can't fix Obamacare. Why? Because it's on a faulty premise. Obamacare and the American Health Care Act are built both on a faulty premise. The fact that for-profit healthcare corporations can provide better healthcare and health insurance than a single-payer government option. Okay, than single-payer Medicare for all. That's not true. Ask every other country that does it. They will tell you, hey, no, our healthcare system works fantastic. It's actually cheaper. We actually spend less on people than America does per patient, per person, and everybody gets covered. And people really like it. They're actually really happy with it. Where in America, people are not happy with for-profit health insurance. You ask anybody on Medicare, and they're going to be like, I love Medicare. Get your goddamn government hands off my Medicare. And we've talked about the irony of that. But, yeah, Medicare for all is the fix. Not the AHCA. Medicare for all. That's the only way we were to actually go to a better system, because that is the only better system. I think that's the only option that's actually going to do what Trump said it wants to do, what the Democrats say it wants to do, and not even the Democrats. Like Nancy Pelosi want to back Medicare for all because it comes down to the money when they're goddamn donors. But anyway, what the AHCA does is that it takes Obamacare and makes it worse. And what makes it worse is the higher premiums. She always likes to get on Obamacare for the higher premiums. Less help for the poor with deep cuts for Medicaid, subsidies replaced by tax breaks, health savings accounts that only help people who are very rich that can save, high-risk pools for people with pre-existing conditions. Those have been tried before the ACA, and they failed miserably. That's why people don't want their shitty healthcare bill. That's why people, like, when faced with the AHCA and the ACA, they go, let's go with Obamacare, man. That other one sucks. I mean, yeah, Obamacare's not perfect. We have seen rising premiums, and again, she likes to beat on Obamacare for that, but she tends to forget that premiums were rising at a faster rate before the ACA. Well, the ACA slowed that down a little bit, but it didn't go far enough. It didn't have enough price controls, so the price continued to rise. Again, that's because it is for-profit insurance-centered healthcare and not real patient-centered healthcare, which would be single-payer. But this bill, garbage. And it's basically just built around the whole idea that we're going to give a giant tax cut to the richest Americans. And that's to the point of where, oh, that's such an unfair attack when you say it's going to kill Americans. No, it actually will. It will kill Americans, tens of thousands a year, because they will lose their coverage. They will no longer be insured. You will have people with pre-existing conditions, for example, that will be in these high-risk pools, and they will not be able to afford their premiums. They will drop out. They'll get priced out of the market, or you're going to have the return of skimpier plans, which really don't cover anything. You get sick. Well, sorry, your insurance actually didn't really cover anything. That's why it was cheap, because we didn't have any options for you. It didn't cover anything that you needed. So, look, this isn't scare tactics, right? You know what scare tactics are? Scare tactics are death panels. Remember the death panels? Oh my God, the death panels. They're going to kill grandma. Well, it turns out that's fake news. That was alternative facts came up by the right wing. If anybody's guilty of scaring and lying to people, it's people like Kellyanne Conway and the Republican Party lying about what their own healthcare bill is about. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.